Sure. Hi. How is everybody on this Capricorn new moon?
Yeah,
111. Yeah.
111.
111.
Manifest.
Yeah, I know. Make your wish. Make your intentions. Make your list. Of course, you want to have two lists, the things you're releasing. But this is a new moon where we plant the seeds and especially in the beginning of the year, it's the first new moon of the year. But
And may
even though, what's up?
and it's the last time that Pluto will experience a Capricorn new moon.
True, true. So that's unusual. Well, the whole thing is unusual. All the charts are so the astrology since 2020 has just been, I mean, it's really difficult to describe it in a lot of ways because there's so much going on. And it wasn't like this before. Before that, it was kind of coming up, but anyway, make your wishes and your intentions, but don't feel. In fact, I want to take a couple breaths because I do feel this energy is really amping up. Like it's that gotta hurry, gotta go, gotta do it feeling. But that's not how we're going to start out the year. We want to start out the year at our pace, in our when when we know that we have received enough of the information from our spirit team to go forward and to act on, to make things happen. That's what Capricorn's known for. Very responsible, very mature. But and that's good. I mean, we can plan, right? Certainly plan. But with that Pluto not in Aquarius until the 20th and Uranus still out there retrograde, he's a big player in this new moon in Capricorn. That tells us there's something coming. There's surprises. There's shocks. There's something out of the blue coming in for you. If it hasn't already, it's probably on its way. But we need those surprises because that's our spirit team who has that other vantage point that they can see from, helping us align to these new energies to go forward. Does that make sense so far, Diana? Hello,
Yeah.
everybody. Oh, I love that name, Shaughnessy. I have astrology
Oh,
happenings with Shaughnessy. What a beautiful name. Hi,
yeah.
Starbuzz. Hi, Willow Love. Let me just say hi. Oh, Warrior Girl, how you doing? Hi, Kayla. Hi, Melinda. Oh, am I missing anybody? You gotta forgive me. Can't see real. Lori Hunsinger, nice to see you.
Yay.
All right, let me just take a breath or two. In fact, let's all take a breath. Put your heart or your hand on your heart. Take a couple of big deep breaths. And I see gold sparkly light coming in from our team, from our crown, down into our energy column, down into Mother Earth. Another one or two of those. And then I want you to hold a breath. Because when we let it go, we're going to let all that gold light shoot out of our chakras and down into Mother Earth and release anything that's kind of hanging on us. There we go. All right, so hold it a few seconds and blow it out hard out of your chakras, out of your line of your chakras down into Mother Earth, from your feet, from your hands, facing down. Did that feel any better to you, Diana?
Yeah. I felt that one. Definitely. Definitely feel that.
I don't know why I got real hyped and amped up. Been a busy day, but it's kind of expected with the Capricorn new moon on
Mm-hmm.
1/11. And it's
Mm-hmm.
wow, what a new year. And so how do you want your new year? You want to be in charge of the pace and the energy. You don't want to feel like you're you're behind. You don't want to start out that way. I don't. They keep bringing that in my awareness to to go over and over and over because it's important that we take our time. It's a
Mm-hmm.
big year because a lot is going to change this year. That I mean, the circus is going to be on fire. And they're going to try to pull us in, grab our attention, and get us off of our center. But I think, many of us here in this community, our spiritual community, know that that's what's going on out there. And, yeah, you got to know what's going on, but really try, take your focus into your heart and let your heart tell you what you love and value and what matters to you. What makes your heart smile? Think of that. Just keep thinking, what makes my heart smile? Because that's going to really irritate us if we're watching the circus. That doesn't make my heart smile.
Glimmer globes.
Glimmer,
Do
glimmer.
glimmers instead of triggers.
Oh, I love that. I keep posting that on my community board. I'm going to make sure I put that up there repeatedly. That's a good
Thank
idea.
you, Gerald. Thank you, Tarot Stash. Because he made sure we started that with Yule, I believe. We did 21 days, or maybe it ended on the 21st. At any one way or the other, Glimmer Globe with Gerald was a fun operation, but it doesn't have to end. We can continue
No.
doing it. We can start
Right.
another cycle of it. And we are in a new cycle. It's a new year. It's a
But don't you
1-1-1 portal.
I know. Don't you feel like it's totally different energy though from 12/31/2023? To me, it's like, whew, it's really a higher vibrating energy that's been coming in. And
Well,
Diana and I have been talking about it for a couple of years, but it really does feel like, okay, we're up here and we're kind of floating. And it's like, do the float.
that Mercury stationed direct on the 1st. That
Mm-hmm.
station was power. When a planet stops to station, is stationed, stops to change direction, whether he's going to just begin the journey
Mm-hmm.
backward or begin the journey forward. There is a grab it by the bootstraps kind of a power. You are not going to make me budge till I am ready to budge. It is an extra strength, that root chakra, that core chakra of your own feels that strength. And that's what happened on the 1st. Now, granted, was still in Capricorn, and he is still today, and he is still in his shadow. But remember, this is the 3rd pass over territory we've just covered, right? And he's about to go back into Sagittarius.
And he was on a critical degree this whole time too. Three
Right.
passes over 27 degrees Sagittarius, which is the galactic center.
Yep.
So there is massive higher consciousness information that we're all receiving on different levels. We're all different. This is why Diana and I, let me just say that Diana and I talk about the astrology as overall inclusive for the collective, because we all have these planets in our chart somewhere, no matter what we're talking about. We have a degree there. And I think maybe, maybe we'll do that on the next one. Help people create a chart so you can bring your charts.
And yes, and why don't we think about giving people lessons on here? Like
We
maybe
do.
once a week or so, just get together to say, Here, let's talk about this. Let me help you learn how to read your chart.
Mm.
Not necessarily all the planets, where they are and all of that business, but to understand better a house and a planet and a sign and what they mean when they're in their home environment and what they mean if they're scattered in other places on the chart. And that is general for everybody's blueprint.
Mm-hmm.
It does happen that you're, especially with Mercury, that Mercury will show up in the same sign that your sun is in.
Yeah.
But only because he travels so fast does that happen. And because he travels so fast, he will only either be one sign behind the sign of your sun or the sign in front of it. But he will still be traveling near your sun.
Well, Warrior Girl's got a good point too. Actually, Diana and I have classes already made, but we like to
Oh,
work in the, remember from our other couple of invites
yes, yes,
ago?
absolutely.
But we
Absolutely.
like to, and I can post those on my channel, but we can come live and do it. It is a lot of information, and it is something that, you miss one, you might miss something important, especially if it's a basic something. But we could definitely talk about it. But if anyone's interested, go to astro.com and pull up your chart. You will need your birth date, birth time, and birth location, and it'll get you a basic chart.
And if you do not have your birth time, put in 12:01 p.m. So you're just past the noon hour, and we'll go from there. You have to rectify your chart. You can pay somebody a whole lot of money to rectify your chart for you, but it really comes down to how you feel about what your rising sign is and how it resonates with you. And if you have a vague idea of the time, use that as well, because
Yeah.
it will give you enough information to get started.
Mm,
Primarily, there can be a bigger shift in the chart, but primarily the time will change the houses, but not necessarily the planet placement. So,
mm.
I mean, the sign that the planet is in.
It's okay. We can go over it another time. We
Yeah.
might just do a live about how to print up a chart at astro.com. That's who I would use. They're free. Um,
And that's the easiest one, I think, to use.
yeah, it's real easy. You just put in your information, and that's that. But and a lot of them, I think, astro.com, it'll even break it all down for you, tell you what it all means. It'll give you a nice uh, report on your birth time and your chart. I don't know why I'm having a hard time talking. Anyway,
Well,
so
Lori says she's beginning to feel excited and hopeful. And yes, it is a very strong feeling of hope out there right now, because we have Mars and Mercury both doing things and dancing around with Jupiter and with Saturn, who is about the integrity, and Jupiter is about, oh, come on, let's make it bigger, let's make it better. And they are taking the turns at do-si-doing with those planets in trines and sextiles, which are supportive.
we got the sun. That's new moon is squaring the nodes, which is it's pretty major, because you're squaring the south node, squaring the north node. South node's Libra, north node's
Well,
Aries. Aries is where is I am, right? Where am I? How am
and
I getting there?
it's a checkout point. And case in
Right.
point is Melania's mother died on the 9th as the sun is squaring the nodes. The sun is still in a square with the nodes.
Oh yeah.
And we had a friend who had to put her horse down that day. So that too, I mean, it is a checkout point. And if you've noticed, we've had a lot of actors and actresses. Glynis Johns passed away last week, and a few others, Bedknobs and Broomsticks, if you remember, she was in that, I believe. So we've had a lot of passings through this time right now. So square positions with the sun and the nodes often show checkout points, conjunction.
And change, it doesn't even have to be that that severe. Could be a change. Oh, I was going to go work here. I was going to take this job, and then in the last minute you don't. Now, don't forget that Uranus is in play too. So that could be anything, and it could just be something you were not even expecting on any level. And here you are. I mean, we've had a lot of strange happenings just in our community these last few days.
Right. And so your sun is going, should I do that? Should I do that? Do your north node. Always do your north node or your Saturn or both, because sometimes they mesh with each other.
Yeah, that definitely. It'll help either one. And that Mercury, so we're getting the higher consciousness downloads. Uranus is also like he's the higher octave of Mercury. So that's even more of this really magical information.
Well, and look at all the big, crazy court things we've been having going on, right? And that is that Mars with Saturn and Jupiter. Saturn, the rules, the foundation, the blah, blah, blahs, and Jupiter. And if you did catch the news today, that guy with the thing on his head or whatever walked out of the courtroom, didn't agree to the rules that the judge set down, got up and did his spiel anyway. And then look at the drama that Hunter Biden provided yesterday. And it was perfectly planned.
It's just like, okay, I'm all for whatever Hunter Biden standing up for himself. But while that other person is allowed to get away with the things he gets away with in a court of law, if that was any of us, it certainly would not have.
Well, it goes against his gag order. It goes against his gag order. He wouldn't agree to it. Okay, we could do this for an hour, couldn't we? Sorry, kids. Yeah. All right, let's get back on track.
But there's something important about that, though, because that is
Mercury with his windshield wipers right now.
Yeah,
no,
but the divine truth is coming through, and it will come out. It's not always going to be pretty because look, we can see that it is a shit show. I'll just say.
So on the 13th, Mercury is going to go into Capricorn. Right, but he's still going to be in the shadow phase until the 15th.
Yeah, but these are the degrees that are the most intense. Is today? Look what happened today. I mean, that's a classic example of somebody really acting out those
in a shadow phase.
Yeah.
Well, and yeah. This is a crazy week. It certainly is a crazy week. There's all kinds of feel good and excited, but don't move too fast. And I know we keep saying this every month. It seems to be the same message because keep turning up the temperance card in the tarot. It is exactly what we need. We have to make plans. And here in the Northern Hemisphere, where we're in the winter months, there's not a whole lot we can do. We can't plant the garden yet. We might have too much frost, or if we're farther north, snow or storms that will wreck it.
Well, it's the whole thing, though, we've been taken off of our natural cycle, right? Because winter was supposed to be for us to go inside. And then they put Christmas there. The December's, you certainly can't relax at all during December. Up until the new year, and here we are running around and keeping that pace going. That's kind of the old way of doing things. The new way, which we're all just starting to feel into, is wait a minute, what do I want? Let's just step back for a second.
Right. And that's Mars sextiling Saturn.
Mm-hmm.
Right. We got to close out this stuff first. We're still, because of Mercury still being in the shadow phase, we're still dealing with ghosts of the first pass, the second pass. Oh, he went this way, then he went retro and went this way and went all over it again. And now this is the third pass. He's going over it one last time for anything that needs its final adjustment.
But I think what you just said is brilliant, because that's going to really be the thing going on for the next year. The ghosts of the past. The ghosts of the past. They're just going to keep trying to be relevant, right? Keep trying to look at me, look how important I am. And when it's the old ways of doing things, it's not going into the new with us, and we're all just kind of watching it like, are you, have you grown up yet? 5-year-olds have better manners. It's just mind blowing. But I like how you said that, because it is going to be the past. Just keep trying to stay alive. As the dark is dying.
Yeah, let
In
me
the
correct
death
myself though. He doesn't go into Capricorn till out of the shadow phase till the 21st. So let me rephrase that. That
But that's
power
perfect.
of that power, right? But that power of him standing still when he enters Capricorn is the same as if a planet changes to go retrograde or to go out of retrograde. So when they're changing from one sign to another, again, there's a 3-day pocket, the day before, the day of, and the day after, because there's not much movement. It's like, especially if you know how to drive a stick, you got to switch gears. You got to put the clutch in, or you got to be going like a bat out of hell in order to speed shift without your clutch. Yeah. Oh, I thought you were frozen for a minute.
No, I'm just it's just how the thing is. My internet might mess up. I don't know. Diana's good. We're not sure what's going on there, but so far she's doing good. Her camera's working perfectly.
I have a new camera. I have a new iPad. And so all of that halo that you've always seen me in was because the forward-facing camera on the iPad 14 was not supported by any iOS 17, which is where it was when I purchased the thing brand spanking new 3 years ago. And of course, the warranty just ran out, including the extra care.
Okay, now see, these are other things that are coming up. Like, this is old Mercury. This is at Uranus. I need a new.
Well, here's the reason for this. This is Venus acting up. This is Venus and her sassiness with Pluto. And she wasn't supposed to do this till the 19th. But being who I am, let's hurry up and get this over with now. So the energy for that is about money and having to spend big. And so make your purchase wisely, because you're going to have to live with it for a long time, but you're going to be happy with it. So consider it an investment, but don't forget, purchase responsibly as well. If you don't need it, would I have gone out and bought it? No. If you saw what happened to me last Tuesday, all of a sudden you couldn't see me at all. It's because it upgraded to 17.2. It updated the iOS to 17.2, and that knocked the camera out completely.
And that's the Uranus thing, right? Bringing in the higher AI, the higher.
And there's your ghost of Mercury going over the same spot before, because my moon is in Sagittarius besides, and he was going over territory that gets lit up because of my Sagittarius moon.
We're all going to be lit up all this year. I'm just being honest with you, but Diane and I will do the new moons, full moons all year, but it's not time to jump. It's not time to speed out the gate. And I know that we say that a lot, and I know I'm sick of hearing myself say it. Unless you have your ducks in a row and know that's exactly what you want and it's already laid out, ready for you to go, then that's a different story. But if you're kind of waiting on information or a letter or an email, it's just, do what you can with what you have, but just stay true to your heart. That, if I say anything, that's probably the most important thing to get across.
Well, and
Too.
what supports that is that the moon is heading towards a sextile with Palais Athena. So that is strategic work, because Pallas Athena is about the higher mind.
In Scorpio.
In Scorpio.
Not there.
Mm-hmm.
She's not going to miss nothing, and she will make sure you know it.
Right. And
Or
then
you will make
today
sure someone knows it.
we have Mercury on Aculus. He's on the fixed star Aculus right now. So this is seeing things clearly. This is him with his windshield wiper right now, as he's making his last pass through Sagittarius right now. It'll be a year before he's back in Sag. So he's windshield wipering everything right now.
Or these last 2 days, though, that he's in the last degrees of Sag, whatever information is coming to you, really check it out, because it can be quite deep. There's another thing, Venus trining Chiron. That's not bad.
No,
So
that's very
yeah, that's kind of helping out that Pluto Venus thing. What were you going to say? Oh, about Sedna and Pluto.
okay.
You
I will love to do that, but let me just do this one thing right now, because we're all feeling ruckusy and hyped up, and oh my gosh, aren't we? Neither one of us can. I mean, we've got so much to tell you guys, and keeping it straight at the same time is difficult. But you're all feeling the same energy, because we have the moon is being highlighted, or is highlighting Apollo, the sun god, the god of illumination, right? Let's bring it up. And then we have Mercury on Aculus, and then we have Venus is on Tisiphone, and she's the fates. Like, what's coming next? What are we destined for? What's coming next? And then we have Saturn and Bacchus. Now think about Scrooge and Christmas Past. Christmas Past is Bacchus, and Vino Veritas. He is the drunk guy who tells you the truth. What?
No, I was just reading the chat. That's all.
And what do we need to create a miracle? A paradox. What you just had, a paradox.
Yeah, paradox. It's gonna
Can you
be
put that back up again?
Sure, it's gonna be quite intense. Yeah, we're already in it, really.
It will. Yeah. Because what is Aquarius about? Quirkiness. So if they feel absurd, it's the quirkiness of Aquarius. And Pluto is experiencing Aquarius for the first time in 250 years. And remember, nobody knows what he was like the last time he was there. Not just because it was 250 years ago, but nobody on Earth could see him. He wasn't discovered till 1933. And it's his birth chart in Sedna. And right now they are in a trine. And the beauty of this trine that they are in is the comparisons in their discovery charts, not their birth chart. Well, a discovery chart is the way you would consider a birth chart. Let me find my notes on that. So they both have. Sedna was discovered in 77, and Pluto was discovered in 33. They both have a Leo rising. They both have a Taurus North Node. They both have Chiron opposing the moon.
Wow.
Pluto has his moon conjunct the Scorpio south node, and Sedna has Chiron opposing the moon. So, then
well,
they both have
they're
they both
very
have
powerful. Yeah.
they both have Jupiter trine Mars. They Pluto is the modern ruler of Pisces in the second house, and with Saturn in the sixth. And Sedna is the ancient ruler of Pisces in the second house, with Saturn opposing the sixth house. So that in itself is a completed circle. He's in there, she's opposite it. She holds Saturn opposite. His Saturn is in it. And that's a completion between those two planets. That between Saturn having been in one spot, and then by the time she got discovered, he's across from it. That's an opposition return to Saturn. Okay. And so then we have, when on Pluto's discovery chart, Sedna is on the midheaven in the ninth house, which is already about the higher mind. And in Sedna's chart, Sedna is on the midheaven at the cusp line on the 10th house. So she didn't move a whole lot. It takes her 1,500 years to go orbit around the sun. Pluto's slow, but she's really slow.
Yeah.
Now, the beauty of this trine is because we know that Pluto is the modern ruler of Scorpio. Even though it's a water sign, Pluto is Hades. And Hades is the underworld. And that's fire and passion, because the deeper you go under earth, the hotter it gets, right? The closer you get to the core of earth, molten rock that we believe in there, the hotter it gets. And Sedna is about the water. So they have that in common. But when you look at them, they are about the kidneys. The kidneys need both fire to get the fluid moved, and the water that goes into another to cool it, right? It's like a steam engine. You think about when your kidneys hurt, and that's in your Libra area. That connection with the kidneys is about keeping yourself balanced and keeping yourself in a place where you can eliminate what no longer serves your purpose. And Pluto will help you burn up what no longer serves your purpose. And Sedna will help you eliminate it. And right now, they have been in this dancing trine together since 2008. They're going to be together, 2018, and they're going to be dancing until 2028. So this trine is not only now, today, at 29 degrees, 32 minutes for Pluto, or 50 something for Pluto, and 32 minutes, 29 degrees and 32 minutes. I hear that all the time. Wait till I sing for you. It's a lot like Cher. But because of that, they're in this trine in Capricorn and Taurus. He's going into Aquarius, and in August, she goes into Gemini. And they're only going to be an orb apart the whole time that he goes into Aquarius before she gets into Gemini. So they're not even going to be a full degree apart. It's just going to be minutes apart. So that slowness of her and his slowness as well is going to keep them in orb of each other while he is permanently in Aquarius, and she is going to be in Gemini through all of the remaking and rebuilding of the next 20 years that is coming our way. And they will be the steam engine that drives us
brilliant. It's going to really bring in a whole new paradigm, whole new way of being. Because they all, Sedna especially, Sedna's became Sedna out of a lot of trauma and pain.
Right.
Kind of, and we could say this for everybody and throughout
Yeah.
history and how countries have begun. And we're getting to a place of healing. It's not going to happen right away, but
Mm-hmm.
with Sedna there, really in there with Pluto, and Pluto's going to do for those who are integrity, authentic, and in their truth. Pluto's your friend. If not, that's where you get a little bit of the
So
other side
Sedna's,
of Pluto.
yeah, Sedna's Inuit. She's an Inuit goddess, though I shouldn't. Goddess is a loosely used term because the Inuits don't think of gods and goddesses the same way as the Greeks did. But her name in Inuit is this long. But relating to her stories, there's a lot of different versions of it, but it boils all down to the same thing, which is what her name in Inuit means: girl who would not get married.
Mm.
Her dad wanted to marry her off. He wanted to, to share a bigger kingdom with somebody else, blah, blah, blah. And she didn't want to marry anybody and rejected every prince that came her way. And finally, she sees a guy and she likes the guy and he charms her and she agrees to marry him. And they go off in their canoe together to his home. And he turns into the shapeshifter raven and becomes the monster that he really is.
Mm.
And she becomes so distraught and
So
so
many
nerved
times.
that she begs her father to come back. And he
Mm.
refuses. He's not going to do it. No, I'm not coming back to get you. You got married. You're his problem. Finally, he succumbs to go get her. And a storm, the monster comes home. He gets her while the monster is out. And they take off in a boat, in the canoe. And the monster comes home and finds her gone. And he brews up a tempest. And the tempest is so bad that the canoe is getting ready to tip over. And so her father, to save himself, throws her overboard. And she's now in these frigid waters, and she grabs onto the canoe and he cuts off her fingers. In some stories, he even cuts off her feet. Sedna could have died, but instead, Sedna sacrificed and adapted, and she became the queen of the water.
And all the creatures. She birthed all the creatures.
Yep,
Is the
her fingers became
yeah.
all creatures, and her
Mm.
toes became all the creatures. The
Mm.
whale, the urchins, the
Mm-hmm.
dolphins, the clownfish, they became all the creatures of the water. So that story is showing us how we work with humanity in our humanitarian way. This new experience of Pluto in, and all we have to do is look back to history. What really worked in history when we didn't know Pluto was there?
Mm-hmm.
Now let's get it. Humanitarian is not a Pollyanna thing.
Mm-mm.
It's fair, firm, and impartial. It's one of the rules of being a teacher. When you have to be the disciplinarianism, you have to be fair, firm, and impartial. That's it. That's all. You can't be the mommy, which they all want you to be, but you can't.
Mm-mm. Nope. And and that's how we create the new world that we know it's coming, we can feel it's coming, but we have to go through all these paradoxes. Who brought that up? Lori.
Right.
Because we're going to be shown everything from every side, upside down, sideways, up, I mean, you name it. And we're going to probably be really sick to our stomachs by the time uh, we get to the end of it. Wow, I just got real high pitch in my ear. Anyway,
because you're on to something good.
I mean, it was loud, and it's going to make us, well, all of us are going to stand up, the collective, and say no more. We don't need rulers like this abusing us anymore. We don't need it, you know.
Right.
But it's going to take a while for us to get to that
Right.
that absolute stop point, right?
Right. So Pluto is about the material inheritance that we get, and Sedna is about the spiritual inheritance that we get. So this is ancestor work, and our core work can even be our shadow work.
Mm-hmm.
Because we try to ignore our shadow, but Peter Pan will let you know.
Mm-hmm.
I need to sew my shadow back on. I lost my shadow. Sew my shadow back on, please.
Mm-hmm. It's going to be deep, but like we said, this is just the first new moon, the first, like that first breath, right? And on a portal, we know it's going to be massive. We already know because of how the astrology is laying out for the year,
Yeah.
the eclipses that are coming. Uh, and it's just that it's just going to ramp it up, ramp it up. Now, after the election, things should be, there should be some sort of uh, on the external world. There should be some sort of some semblance of order going on. So,
right? That is so brief between that September 19th or 16th when Pluto goes back into Capricorn.
one more time.
But then November 19th, he goes back into Aquarius, not to go back into Capricorn in our lifetimes. So Pluto helps us burn off artificial attachments, and Sedna, as her job as the kidney, washes away the emotional baggage.
Wow. I love it. And you know, we're all looking forward to this and we're all excited about it, but as we know, the outside external world's going to go at the pace it's going.
Yeah.
And our lives are going at our pace, right? And what does that mean? What are we doing? Well, we all have an idea what we love to do and what it is we're doing, and we just keep focused on that. You know, that's what the guides keep saying. Focus on your heart. Focus on what matters to you. Um, it's really interesting. By the full moon on the 25th, I think we're going to see a huge shift because of that Pluto going into back into Aquarius.
Mm-hmm.
But I can only speculate. Like Diana said, we don't know what Pluto did back then. They didn't even really have record. Well, there wasn't a record of him back then. But the French Revolution, the American Revolution, we can go on and on. People were demanding their freedom. They were demanding that they be treated with respect. You know.
So, do you remember what book was it? I can't think of the title of the book, but it was Water Brothers. We are Water Brothers.
Allie would know. Allie, do you know the title of this book?
Water
We Are
Brothers.
Water Brothers?
Allie, did you get my message? I just talked about all this stuff I wanted you to hear. So
She'll hear. She can hear it again.
One thing that we really need to do and do more of and do with great regularity, with as much reverence for it as is in that book I was referring to.
Mm-hmm.
Drink water. Now, I'm
Mm.
not saying not to have other things. You want to have other things, go for it. But double up on the water if you've had too much of the fun stuff, the alcohol. If you have, imbibed in the Bacchus way of life, just take care of yourself and drink extra, extra, extra water, because Pluto is busy burning all those attachments away. And it's Sedna who's washing that away. And Sedna right now is in an opposition to Neptune. in spite of where she is with Pluto, that opposition, how are you going to work with that together? Drink water, take care of that water so you can keep yourself physically healthy, because that'll just flush it out of our bodies, period.
And it keeps your electromagnetic being, it keeps it uh, amping at a good rate. We are in these higher vibrations, and that is frequency, and it is going to feel, it can feel very staticky if you're not drinking a lot of water, grounding yourself with grounding food. Um, don't live on chocolate ice cream like I do,
Or
but
your peppermint patties.
I can't help it. I love it in my ice cream. And see, like you
Right.
peppermint patties, right? But
So, right. So good old Capricorn moon here is it it's he's pragmatic. So we're clearing the way for ourselves. It is a feminine energy. Capricorn gives us a feminine energy. It's clearing the way. It's steps to take charge of our own alignment, putting our chakras in order on our own. It's not only the planning, but getting a lot of extra rest right now, because we are burning up a lot of energies.
mm,
So what house is your moon in? What house of your chart is Capricorn? Because
okay.
right now, that's where that
Mm.
transit moon is, right?
Well, was it Stranger in a Strange Land? I wanted you to see that. The
I'm sorry,
book
say that again?
was
Yes, yes,
okay. That thank
Melissa.
you,
Yeah,
Melissa.
thank you,
Um,
thank you, thank you. Oh my God, I carried that book with me all through the 60s, man.
yeah, it's I don't know. Today I was listening to this too. U.S., Russia, and China all have Aquarius moon.
Say that again.
Do do U.S., Russia, and China all have an Aquarius moon? I can't
I
remember.
I don't
Yeah,
know about Russia and China. So,
yeah. But that's well, we were watching the same show, Lori and I guess, and I. But so Aquarius coming back around for 248 years that's been gone. These countries like Russia and China that have taken the sovereignty away from people, that does not work under Aquarius. Aquarius will not tolerate that, especially Pluto in Aquarius. And the thing on the 20th is the sun goes into Aquarius that day as Pluto goes into Aquarius. I think there's a 7 hour difference, right?
yes, yes.
That's going to be
Both the times
epic.
down. I don't know which page it's on right now, but yes, there's about 7 hours.
Yeah.
The
And
sun, yeah,
yeah,
and then
Diana and I will be live on that day, and we're going to have
yes,
all kinds of stuff talking about Pluto and Aquarius and the Sun in Aquarius. We're going to do little Pluto party actually. I think Terry's coming from Holding Your Space, so we might have a couple people pop in and see what they want to talk about. But it's an important, it's an epic event. It's historic. It's history. We're
right,
here making history, and most of us here have some sort of clue or something that something else is coming a lot
right,
more than whatever they tell us out there in the circus, right?
right.
And we
So,
know to be prepared. So,
so set goals for you, but don't make them out there. Make them reachable, because there's so much more that is
right,
going, be
right,
affecting us as we go through a little bit more uh, yo-yo stuff. It can't be helped. That's the way it's going to go. And isn't it always? I mean, if we think about it, every day's a new normal.
yeah.
Thank you, Lori.
And it's true what Lori's
It's
saying. It
true.
is. That's a connection. That's the connection that's going to get us through this.
Exactly. And it is a healthy ego. It's okay to have an ounce of narcissism to keep your ego healthy. You have to take care of yourself first. You can't put the um, oxygen mask on anybody else if you don't put it on yourself first. That plane's falling. look at the crazy stuff that's been going on.
Yeah.
We've seen aliens, right? We've had planes with stuff getting in accidents constantly, but just falling apart in the sky. A window opens and a door falls off on a Air Alaska plane, and
I can't
then
imagine.
I mean, oof, and the tsunamis and the earthquakes and the plasma. And today, I actually cried today because I made it to my yoga mat. I love yoga. I'm a yogini. I'm an instructor. And for the past year, I have not been able to do any yoga. And I finally found part of it is because of a Saturn return on surgeries that I had 29 years ago for cancer. And I found the muscle that is being affected today. And I was able to manipulate it and Reiki it and massage it. And I was able to do 3 chaturangas, 3 complete chaturangas. And then I just did hatha yoga. And I didn't do them consecutively, but I was able to do 3 chaturangas.
And this is knowing yourself. Like she is, I understand kind of what she's talking about, but that is knowing your body, knowing yourself, tracing it back to a specific time period. This is so important. I mean, I'm not saying we have to know every second of our past. I don't mean it like that. But have that connection, cultivate a relationship with yourself, with your higher self, with your team. It is really important that, we're each on a different path and we have different things we are being guided to uncover from that soul spirit team point of view. But they let us know those things. They will have you dig. I know the things that she's gone through to figure this out. And I mean, you dig and you dig and you uncover. You keep on uncovering until you figure out what that is, right?
Yeah.
And that's cool.
Okay, Willow says she has no placements in Capricorn, but you do because the moon and sun are up there right now.
They're sitting there now.
And Mercury is going to move in. Here's the lucky thing for you is they own the place. They don't have to share the rent with anybody. They don't have to share the space with anybody. So they're standing in their own power in that Capricorn, highlighting other aspects in your chart. So how does that affect those charts? It's not lighting up anything particular in the way of one planet in that house, in that sign, but it's still lighting up Capricorn.
Yeah, it's got the whole rest of the chart.
And in fact, don't you think that it gives a clearer vision? There's no other, especially if it were Mercury, no other planet going blah, 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 in your ear, distracting you from the integrity and from the pragmatic thinking of Capricorn energy.
And now Capricorn, he will help us make that plan, get together, get it all, get your ducks in a row, take your time, take it slow, figure it out. But when Diana and I were talking about this earlier, we all have every sign and planet and house in our chart.
Right.
It might be empty with Capricorn there, but right across from it could be totally packed stellium with Cancer, right? That would be across from Capricorn. Then what? How's that hitting you then? So this is never ever. Don't think that energy is just not. Oh, it's just not near me. I don't have to worry about it. It doesn't work like that.
There's always something.
Yeah. And that's the cool part, when you're really digging and seeing yourself, or wanting to see what's coming up here. Really, both of us give readings, and our information's in the description box.
Yeah.
But I can't say it enough. It's epic with Pluto going into Aquarius and that April eclipse, Great American Eclipse. This is an excellent time to get reading.
Yeah.
You know, and either one of us would love to help you, and so would any other astrologer.
Yeah,
But
absolutely.
it's intense, and you really do want to see, kind of what is the flavor of my energy going forward, because this chart right where you're born, there's only one of them like it, and that's you, and that is your energy
Yeah,
signature, and
because even
that's the
twins get different
divine.
charts. Even twins
Right?
get
Even
different
twins
charts.
have different charts, and that is your divine blueprint to get through life. I could look at your chart from 20 years ago, from today, or 20 years in the future. It's going to give me an idea of where you're headed. It
Right.
doesn't matter. It always is
So
in play. And the
let me,
chart doesn't, let me just say this real quick.
okay.
Chart doesn't do anything to you. It's neutral. Think of it as a neutral observer, like the divine is, right?
Right.
We're the ones that have free will, and we make the decisions and the choices of these aspects every time they come up. So it may seem like, oh, life is out to get me, but a lot of times we're blindsided because we don't have the information. It's there, but how do you read it? How do you understand it? And so that's why it's a good idea to get someone to help you.
So
Go
let
ahead.
me let me talk to Melissa Thompson here. She says, I don't have anything in Cap, but my ascendant is at the end of Sag. So my first house is Capricorn, and I'm ready for happy days. So that first house will still have the flavor of Aries, because Aries owns the first house, and he's renting it to Capricorn for you. And what degree is your Sag? If it's at 26, 27, even 28, you're on the galactic center. So you are of the highest thought process of Sagittarius to begin with. Sagittarius is ruled by Jupiter, but Sagittarius is of higher thinking. And his natural home is the ninth house. So the perpetual student and the professor at the same time, because always learning, and learning from journeys and travel and other cultures.
I'm sorry, Sherry. I know it is a lot. That's the thing. That's why we need to really have the basic astrology classes. Each house has a ruler, right? So she has.
Yeah, and Sherry's a Gemini, honey. You're going to catch on
So,
really fast to this stuff. I know you.
but Capricorn will be in her first house for a month. So this is a good time, though. You can just say, okay, I don't need to know anything. First house is about me. What can I be responsible for, be mature enough to take care of, and get lined up for this next month, for the next year, for the next few months, or start this is a good time to start like a workout thing. That's the first house. It's really a good time for you.
So think about Saturn in Capricorn, which is his natural rulership. He in the first house, he's like, I am the Pope and everybody's listening to me. But which kind of Pope are you going to be? Are you going to be a dictator, or are you going to be a delegate? Are you going to, rule with a fisted glove? Not somebody who's out to dictate to others what to do, because that first house really is about here, the upper mind. But Aries, because it controls this, gets a bad rap sometimes of being too much of in himself and being an ego and telling everybody what to do. But the truth of the matter is, this is the part of the body it controls. It can't feed itself. It doesn't control the hands. That's Gemini. It can't chew. It can't do that. That's Taurus. Taurus is this jaw and swallowing, and
We're
it
gonna
needs
come back.
Libra to pass it through the kidneys, and it
Yeah.
needs Virgo to pass it through the pancreas, and Scorpio for the intestines. So it can't function without the rest of the body. And then we get to Leo, the heart. It can't function without the mind. And in reality, we can't function without the kidneys either.
Yes.
And it
And it
takes
goes,
the mind for that, and it's a heart to keep it
well,
moving.
that'll be part of our class because that is
Yeah.
fascinating when you learn it. When she taught me that, boy, I was like, what? That was
Yeah,
something
it is,
epic.
Karen. It's all about you.
Yeah. Karen's an Aries. That's why she's saying it.
Yeah, there
She
you go.
knows. So, um, that's well, Diana and I will get this together. I do have classes we've done. We might put those up just to get people started because they're the basics of the basics, right? You got to know that the simple parts of it, and then the charts come in, and it's totally different. Gets a little deeper and deeper and deeper, like everything. But wow. So if you were to say something about this new moon in Capricorn tonight, what would you say is to the full moon, right? We got a full
Well,
moon. Go ahead.
to the full moon
Yeah, 22 weeks away. What will we do?
on February 10th, we have the Chinese New Year. The Chinese New Year is always about the first new moon in Aquarius, right? It's anytime between January 21st and February 20th. So
Hmm.
wherever that moon falls, and guess where Pluto's going to be?
Where?
In Aquarius.
Oh, I know. I'm sorry. I was like,
In
what? Okay.
time for the Chinese New Year.
Oh man, that's gonna be so cool. And it's the
And
wood dragon.
Wood
It's
Dragon.
yeah.
So if there was one thing I was supposed to say, it's whew, we have a top of the kite in the sky with Saturn as the release point, and a sextile to Mars, and a sextile to Jupiter, and Mars is trining Jupiter. So we have all of this beautiful energy. It's just not time to throw it all out there. This is the planning phase. This is the journaling phase.
Mm,
From
thank you.
writing to drawing to whatever creative things you prepare. Today, I took care of every plant in my house. And I have 5 poinsettias because I just love them, and I keep them
Mm,
growing and abuse them during the summer and then bring them in. And they do this for me for Christmas, right?
mm,
And today I was taking care of them, and I sat down and I got out the Seasons of the Witch tarot for Yule season, and I
mm.
shuffled and I put the poinsettia card right off the bat.
Oh, that is so cool.
And then the wise man was on the bottom of the deck, and that's all about Saturn.
Yeah, yep, it is, and that's okay. What she just said, the wise man is all about Saturn, who rules Capricorn. That and he doesn't just jump. He takes his time. He plans. It's really important. Take that time. The planning phase is on, probably for well, even if I want to say the next couple of months, the beginning of February does look good, but in about a month. But then we got the eclipses, so um, just take
Okay.
it slow. This year is not really a good year for.
Well, there's one other
Well,
thing
I can
that
say it's not a good year.
there's one other thing that's important to know. So there's only one little dwarf planet asteroid in an air sign, and that's
Mhm.
keep it close to your heart. Keep it close to love. Keep it close to home.
I
That's
missed
the
you.
only.
I'm sorry. The Astro.
Everything else is, there's a little bit of water, but everything else is fire and earth. So I mean, grand trines are in the sky. We've got a grand cross in the sky. We've got several grand trines in the sky, in earth and water. And so those are the things that show you where the easy stuff can be. Stick to the easy stuff and stick close to what you love.
Yes. Stick with your heart. It is important. That heart is going to navigate. Our feelings navigate, right? Our heart is in charge. The mind and the ego work for the heart. The feelings navigate. But we've been taught that's not true. It is kind of, I think a lot of us are used to it because we're empaths, psychics, and intuitive. But boy, really trust your gut. Really trust your information. What makes your heart happy? What makes your heart smile? It's important. So we'll be back on the 20th and the 25th.
Yep.
And
then we'll get a game plan together in February for teaching.
Yeah, we'll get something up there. And it's a lot of fun to do it. If everyone, or maybe I should ask, would everyone like to get classes from Diana and I? Or I could put a little what's it called? A little questionnaire up on my community board.
Yeah, and
I think that'd be cool.
what kind of response we get. Let's do it that way.
Yeah, because it is a lot of work. That's what makes sure everybody's into it. We've already done it. We have it,
right.
But I'd like to update it too, because that was a couple of years ago.
So these are all my notes for tonight's show. As well as this.
Yeah.
And I hope I touched on it. I hope I touched on everything. I think we did. At least the important stuff.
No, it wouldn't be a lot of money at all. I don't think we're going to charge, but it'll be basic. But the basics will be free. But
we can take donations.
Yeah,
we can make it.
And then
one thing that I know Valerie is about, and me too. When you understand your own chart, you understand that you understand other people better.
Yeah, you understand life better.
Right?
Everything.
And so the basics will get you started, and hold questions while we're telling you the basics, write them down, and then we'll have a conversation afterwards so we can answer the individual concerns.
Yeah, we'll get something lined up. That we love doing this stuff. We can sit here for days and keep talking astrology. We do. I mean, we do. We love it. And that's the thing, though. We love it because it really does. It gives you guidance. It's your blueprint,
right?
Or the event's blueprint, whatever. But yeah, we'll get something together, and maybe on the deeper aspects we would charge. I don't know. We'll talk about it, see how that goes. But hello, Ruby Red Slippers, beautiful. It was nice talking to you all tonight. If anyone has any questions, let us know. If you would like to. Anything we can say, help you with anything tonight. I feel the energy today is really good. It's really good. But remember that Mercury in the last 2 degrees of Sagittarius is going to be brilliance. I would say brilliance, downloads, uploads, everything coming in from your higher self. That'll be cool. Is there anything else you wanted to say, Diana?
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. I'm with Diana. Happy New Year. We love you. And a happy new moon in Capricorn. And a happy 111. Make a wish. Do your intentions.
Manifest.
And manifest. The big manifestation day. We love y'all.
Peace.